In this video, I want to share with you what's working now for Facebook ads for wholesaling. My name is Cris Chico, and I'm considered the godfather of virtual wholesaling and also the pioneer when it comes to Facebook ads for motivated sellers and a lot of the online marketing that you see right now with real estate investors. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that we're doing that is giving us comparable lead quality to that of PPC at a much lower cost. Now, the first thing that is going to be a big factor for lead quality when it comes to Facebook ads or any sort of inbound lead generation is going to be geography. There's a balancing act. You could target nationwide. However, you're going to get you're going to get leads in very rural areas on Facebook, especially with Facebook. And so the way to combat that is going to be either to target states or target cities. Our favorite targeting right now is cities. If we can get cities campaigns to work, and I say if because I'll share with you the nuance of getting cities campaigns to work, then that's going to give us the best lead quality simply because now there's layers to this. It's going to give us good lead quality along because we're affecting geography, but we're also applying other things, which I share with you in this video. But the first most important thing is going to be geography because you could get a deal that is significantly below market, but if it's in an area where there's no investor activity, there's nothing going on, then you're not going to be able to do anything with it. So our favorite target right now is 95 cities across 12 states. So as I scroll down this list, you can see this list here. In California, we're targeting Alabama. We are targeting California, predominantly the east side of California, as you can see here, not the west side. Colorado, Florida. We are targeting Georgia, Indiana, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. And Texas especially is a state that you want to target with cities because otherwise you're going to get a lot of leads in very middle of nowhere locations. So it's really important that you do target in Texas, that you target correctly. So these are 95 cities. We can take that list, copy and paste it right into the ads editor. And then now we have our targeting honed in. Now, what is going to be the cost to do this? So budgets is one of the other things that plays a big role in the success of our campaigns. Now, you can start off with a budget as little as $12 a day, and I'll show you a campaign that we're running here, a couple campaigns that we're running at $12 a day. Ideally would be $20 to $25 per day to generate enough leads with enough velocity to give you a chance of getting some deals done quickly. Now, there's two approaches to budgets. One approach is where, let's say, you have a budget of you want to spend $50 a day. So you can create a budget of $50 a day. But the problem with that is you create a budget of $50 a day, and not every campaign works out of the gate. Meaning that most of the time you have to launch one or two or three campaigns in order for to get one to grab and to start producing leads, and then that one is going to produce leads for a while. Now the reason for that is that every campaign, even though you might pick 95 cities, there's a total of 20 million people. Facebook is picking a very small portion of that audience and showing your ads. If Facebook makes the wrong choice, if Facebook picks the wrong audience, then you're not going to get any leads. So an example of a $50 per day campaign, if you take a $50 per day campaign and you launch that, and let's say you let it run a couple days and it doesn't get any leads, then you have to pause it, duplicate it, start another one, and let that run for a couple days. And so then now you're in 4 days trying to get leads. The better approach is you take that same budget and you break that up into multiple campaigns. As an example, we have a client that we set up. We actually can set all this up for you. We can even run it for you or even give you our SOPs and then you can implement it. So if you're interested, click the link in the description and we can have a chat with you. But if you notice here, he had a budget. Let me see. Does this? No. He had a budget of $25. So we created two $12.50 campaigns. And these campaigns now are producing leads at $20 per lead, which is a great cost per lead, considering that these are tighter geographic areas. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, that's what we're doing is that we're building out where we're stacking a few campaigns together to create the desired result. Here's another example of an account where there's 4 campaigns. There is from the bottom up, there's one for $25, there's one for $12, and there's 2 for $17.50. So in this scenario, the one for $17.50 has been running for a few days, and the cost per lead on that one is $53. So in those campaigns, those are going to get paused. And we're going to pause them, duplicate them, and restart them again. The other ones are doing well. We have a campaign at $12.50 per day budget, and it has 8 leads. We have a campaign at $25 a day, 13 leads at $22 per lead. You have to look at this as a stock portfolio. So in other words, instead of, if you were to invest in the stock market, you wouldn't necessarily just invest in one stock. You invest in a portfolio of stocks that altogether will give you a good rate of return. That's how you have to approach it. And that's our approach with Facebook that pretty much guarantees success. We have people coming in to our ecosystem where they say, hey, I was running campaigns like this. Now I'm running the way you run them. And all of a sudden I'm getting better leads, and I'm also getting a much lower cost per lead. Now, here's another campaign that we're running. For example, the budget on this account is about $200 a day. So we could put a budget of $200 a day. But again, if the campaign doesn't do well, then we're going to end up spending a lot of money per lead. In this scenario, what we're doing here is we have 3 campaigns, 2 at 75, 1 at 36.50, and then the cost per lead actually is less at the 36.50. However, the other ones are a little bit higher, 25 and 29. However, we're going to keep all of them running because the average cost per lead is still quite good and is acceptable based on the quality of the leads we're getting. All right. Now, the other thing that we're doing in order to increase friction and increase lead quality is changing our creative strategy. So we're using creatives that have a lot of text and that also qualify the prospect. If you notice, it says here, if this isn't for everyone, if the home is listed with a realtor, if you want top dollar, if you're just seeing what it's worth, then this qualifies the prospect. And they're meant to stand out in the feed. We're also using videos as well. For our clients, we provide videos of me, and they work really well. I'm not saying that I'm the best, but people like me, and they submit properties so that the clients can go ahead and make them offers. We're also doing AI generated ads, and we're doing AI generated videos. Let's see if we can hear this. I don't know if you can hear this or not. Let's see.
If you're feeling stuck with a property you just want to be done with, whether it's a headache you inherited, a place that needs too much work, or just something you're ready to move on from, this might be exactly what you've been looking for. Because we help homeowners skip the agents, skip the fees, skip the stress, and get a real cash offer without the showings, the repairs, or months of waiting. You don't have to clean. You don't have to fix it.
So, those definitely stand out in the feed versus what you see with a lot of other real estate investors. So these are some of the ads that you would see from other investors, and they're just very plain Jane. There's a talking head video that they get from somebody on Upwork, and now they're not bad, but when everybody else is doing the same thing, then all of a sudden now we look like everybody else. So that's a problem. So you got to be able to stand out. And it's always a ever-changing game, meaning what we're doing today versus what we'll be doing 60 days from now is going to change. And so that's also part of the process. Part of the process is always iterating and looking for new ways of doing things. The next thing that we're doing in order to increase the lead quality is we're shifting from lead forms to landing pages. Facebook has a system by where you can collect the seller's information through a lead form, which is a form inside of their system. And it has its positives and negatives. The positive is that it's fairly easy for you as the advertiser to go ahead and put that together and use it because you don't have to worry about creating a converting landing page. However, it is easy also for the seller to fill out that information. And so because of that, then you're going to get a lesser quality lead. I'm in a few groups where they do a lot of lead generation for other niches, the home repair industry and insurance and a bunch of other stuff. And for the most part, most of them do not like lead forms because the quality of the lead is less. So how do you gauge the quality of the lead? Well, contact rate would be lower because they just very quickly inputted their information into the form. There wasn't that much friction. So they really didn't have that much of an intent in order to fill out that form. Another reason is that the information is pre-populated on that lead form. So they could have an old phone number or bad contact information. And so you're never really going to be able to reach them at all. When it comes to a landing page, they have to exit Facebook, have to go to an external page. So now they're if they were scrolling, looking at videos, now they have to pause what they're doing and actually consider this next step that they're going to. And then when they fill out the form, they have to go and actually fill it out. There's no pre-filled information or anything like that. So there's friction there. And you want that. You want that in an environment such as Facebook, because you want to try to get, you always want the least expensive lead possible on the platform, but at the same time, you don't, you also want the highest lead quality. So if I got you a bunch of $6 leads, I could say, hey, these are great, these are $6 leads. But if you can't get a hold of those leads, and those leads, they're really not motivated, then at that point, then they're not really great leads. And so, you're better off having $20 leads, and they're a little bit more expensive than you would have had you stayed within the Facebook ecosystem. But now you're having a better contact rate, and you'll need less leads in order to get a contract. And that's really key. Here's the thing. It used to be that the people that did Facebook were the people that couldn't afford PPC, because PPC leads were quote unquote better. But now things have changed. PPC, we're having a lot of people come to us from PPC saying, hey, the leads are not as good as it used to be. It's taking more leads for us to close a deal, and yet we're still paying the same amount of money per lead or more. And so social is where it's at. And the sooner you get started, the better. If you're doing PPC, you should consider social. Now, I've got a video that'll pop up right here where I go through my entire system for generating motivated sellers using Facebook and using social media. And I go over the entire landscape of everything that you need in order to get this up and running. Definitely, you should check that video out.